Thank you everyone for coming. It's our 2023 kickoff webinar. It's hard to believe that it's 2023 and we're about to embark on another season, but here we are. I'm Kyle Youngkin. I'm our product owner here at Gallus, if we haven't talked before. And with me, as always, is Matt Kadin, our Director of Customer Success. Um, the goal of this webinar is we're trying to give you guys a lay of the land, like where are we at here at Gallus, what new features have we released in the past 6 months, and also preview what's coming up in the next 3 to 4 months, along with just giving you a general idea of what you should be focusing on to get your app set up for the year. So we have a lot to cover. So I'm not going to hang around on anything for too long. Let's get into it. Let's talk about today's agenda. So I already talked about it a little bit, but we're going to start by giving you some notable stats from 2022, looking at some trends, and also some of our higher performing apps so that you can maybe download a couple of them to get some inspiration for your own app. We're then going to talk about some new features that were added in 22, along with a preview of what's coming in 2023. Like I mentioned, we'll talk about what you should be setting up in your app right now, and then wrap it up with some support resources for 2023. At the end, time permitting, we're going to do a Q&A session as well. So in your window somewhere, I'm not sure what your window looks like, but there's probably a little Q&A section. If you have any questions as we're going, feel free to pop stuff in there. Matt and I will be responding to them as we can throughout the webinar. But if there's anything that maybe requires a little bit more explanation, we can get to it in the Q&A section too. We're also going to be popping up some poll questions throughout the webinar, just some data points that we want to try to capture to get an idea of what you guys are using, whether it be for your point of sale or just in your Gallus app as well. So if you see something pop up on your screen and you're like, what is this? Just to really quickly, off the top of your head, first thing that comes to your mind, answer it. And that'll really help us develop our new products in the future. So, let's get started. I'm going to kick it over to Matt, and he's going to talk about some notable stats from 2022.
Thank you, Kyle. Yes, hello, everybody. Matt Kadin here. As Kyle mentioned, I believe next to the Q&A, I believe for all of you guys, there should be the poll section. When we start one, they should pop up there as well, if you see it. We're going to start one right now. Which provider does your facility use? Yeah, for your POS and T-sheet. So that would pop it up if anybody wants to click on that. It helps us out. And we're going to be doing a couple more throughout, not too many, so don't worry. So notable stats from 2022. We're going to run through just a couple stuff, a couple little stats that we picked out, just to give you some insight into what's happening across all of our apps, kind of more like industry-wide stuff. So Kyle, if you want to go on to the next slide. So this year we saw 91.08, so almost 92%, or just over 91% increase in pushes sent year over year, which is really great to see because this is probably the number one, module part of the app that I always recommend to use. If you're going to use anything in the app, this is the best way to reach people because it goes on top of people's phones. It's a different way to reach people other than email. It's just another avenue that you can reach people that gets directly like in their face, and it reminds them to, look at you, look at your club, look at what you're doing. But this is great to see because it shows that it's working and that people are responding to other people using it, and the increase was much higher than any other year we've seen recently. So it just means the clubs that are using it well are using it really, really well, and they know that it's going to continue to work. So that's a really good sign because, again, that's probably the number one feature I always tell people to use. Another feature that we updated, and we'll go over some of the updates we did this year with the Offer Locker, is we saw a 71% increase in Offer Locker redemptions this year, which, again, across the board, some of the updates we did is probably some of the main reasons for this because we made it a little bit easier and more more ways to use it, essentially. So if you're not using OfferLocker currently, we're going to dive into that most likely into one of our webinars coming up sooner, to deep dive in some of this stuff. A little spoiler alert. So, and then the last stat we have on this page is we had a 12.5% increase in just year-over-year app downloads, which is good to see. I know that golf in general, we had a big kind of boom in the last couple of years, but this is showing that we're still having increase in people downloading the apps across all of our apps. This is a good to see industry wide that people are still downloading and it's still growth there. So just some really cool kind of like baseline stats, and again showing maybe what's working with some people's apps and maybe something that you can think about if you're not using as much. Maybe these are some of the stuff. Obviously, downloads is just getting people to download your app, but pushes and OfferLocker, we saw the biggest increases in those two modules. So now I'm going to show you some app download growth, some MCOs, which are multi-course operators. We separated them from single course to multi-course, as it's just kind of dividing a pack a little bit. We saw that the Robert Trent Jones sale almost doubled anybody else by over 20,000 new downloads last year. They did something very, very cool, which I think is a great idea, which is something we're actually going to start doing going forward, making promo files for most of our clubs. They just put all they did for promotion last year was they put a little QR code sticker that said "Want GPS" in the bottom right corner of every single golf cart they had. That's all they did at all their facilities. Didn't even send out a lot of emails or do any other promotion really, and they increased their downloads by 20,000. So obviously they have a lot of courses. They have, I believe, 11 courses. But it does show the power of just remembering every year. They've had the app with us for a couple of years, to go back and keep promoting your app, because there is different ways to get people and get them to download the app. So as you can see,
I also want to, sorry to interrupt that. I want to call out City of San Diego too. I mean, obviously here at Gallus, like most of us are based in San Diego, so it's close to our hearts. But one cool thing that they did is they have like special play opportunities where maybe there's a time in the middle of the week where they don't really fill their tee sheet up too much. They'll do a shotgun like first thing in the morning on a Tuesday or something like that at Torrey Pines. And what they've been doing is, instead of like opening it up just like on their normal booking engine, they will send out a push notification and it says, "Hey, new special play opportunity for this Tuesday. Tap here to reserve your spot." And it links to a Google form. And I was talking to them a couple of weeks ago, and they said that it most of the time it sells out within about 5 minutes. So they basically, like, that's the only way that you can get it. It's acted as a huge incentive for their app, and that's why their downloads increase so much. So another cool thing that someone's doing.
Yeah. So these are, again, just a couple ideas of how to get new growth and how to make it the app more exclusive for certain items or certain things that get people to kind of download and use the app. So yeah, there's a lot of great kind of ideas out there. But now to our individual courses, we had Pleasant View had the most number of downloads, just squeaked out the Revere Club Golf Club by just over 3,000 downloads. So these are just showing, again, most of these courses have been with us for a number of years, but they still have growth year over year because they are, still promoting the app in multiple different ways, which we will get to later in the webinar, like some of the best practices for some of this. But we just want to highlight some of our, top performing clubs here, just to, say, hey, maybe next year you can be on this slide when we talk about you. So now I'm going to kick it, I believe, to Kyle.
Awesome.
Right? Back to our new features.
I will take it over. Yeah. And like Matt said, I think I mentioned this earlier on, but I threw a link to the webinar slides in the Q&A section. So if you want to just view them, you can view them there. If you want to go back to something to read it a little bit more, those apps that we outline there are great ones to download and put on your phone to get ideas. So
you'll get their push notifications. Yeah, I have a lot on my phone.
Same thing. Like I've got like so many apps on my phone of ours, and it's really helpful for me to get an understanding of like what people are using it for. So anyway, um, like Matt mentioned, we're going to go over some new features that were released in 2022. Some of these you may have heard about, and some of them you may be like, I had no idea that you guys had that. So let's roll through some. So one of the features that we released actually before the season last year, I want to say, is pop-up scheduling. Pop-ups, if you're not familiar, they're basically in-app messages that display to a user at a specific point that you designate. So meaning like you can put it at a specific spot in the scorecard and GPS. So maybe like before hole 8, something like that, or like at the end of the round to thank them for the round, things like that. Or you can do an app open pop-up, which means before they see your app's home screen, they'll see this pop-up message just to promote things. Some people even like sell sponsorships in their apps, and that's another like revenue generator that you can get out of the app. But pop-up scheduling, for the longest time, the only thing you could do to schedule a pop-up was set a start date and an end date. Meaning like if I did January 1st until January 31st, it would show 24/7 in between those two dates, and then it would shut off. We got some feedback from people that it would be nice to have a greater level of control over these and actually set them for a specific day of the week. So it's in there. You can see on that screenshot, it's probably a little small, but there's basically a section where you can say adjust the days available, and then there's check boxes. So this one that we're looking at here, this is on Tuesday from 12 a.m. until 11:59 p.m. So meaning it's just showing up on Tuesdays. So like any other day of the week, users are not going to see this pop-up message. So like I mentioned, there's 2 scheduling options. You can do a date range or days of the week. The display for this days of the week is for like that one day. And then just like some ideas for you on this. It's really great for leagues. Like if you have league members that are out there at like the same time window every single week, and you have a league specific message you want to get out to them, set one up and it'll turn on and turn off, and you don't even have to think about it after you set it up initially. We've also seen a lot of people do it for food and beverage specials. Like if you have a special deal on Fridays or something like that, you can put that in there. Or as I mentioned, sponsorships, whether that be for like tournaments or leagues or whatever else you can think about. So that's one thing. The next thing that we released, Matt alluded to this earlier, multi-use offers. So Offer Locker is our section for capturing like in-app deals and coupons and specials. You can do either like a broadcast offer, which goes out to everyone that has your app downloaded, or you can do a targeted one to specific people. Initially, when we released the feature, you could only give like one redemption per user per offer. So meaning like this one that I have as an example on the right is a member guest pass. You could only do like one redemption and then it would disappear from their app. We got some feedback that it would really be useful to apply multiple offers to a user. So you'll notice like on this one, on the phone on the right, it says at the top 4 remaining. So that means that when the user actually goes in and they want to redeem an offer, they tap the redeem now button at the bottom, and it actually lets them choose how many redemptions they would like to use at that moment. You can also, after you have initially released the offer to them, you can go back in to your Offer Locker section in your dashboard, search a specific user, and add offers just for them if you wanted to. So that's another great feature within there. So like I mentioned, you can assign the multiple uses. Your reporting is clean and updated. One of the reasons that we did this was we had quite a few customers who were really pushing the envelope on what you could do with Offer Locker. But if you had to create a new offer every single time you want someone to redeem it, all of a sudden you had like hundreds of offers you had to look through. Now you can keep them really nice and tidy under one single line item for each one. And then, like I mentioned, the streamlined experience in the app. So we've seen people use this. I mean, aside from like the member guest pass, idea. Also, like if you want to sell some sort of like a prepaid card or something like that, we do have a wallet module for that that automates everything. But if you do it like in a separate system and then you just want to release the redemptions, like of you get 5 rounds over the year or something like that, you can easily go into your offer locker, upload a list of people that you want to give it to, and then it's just digital in their app and they don't have to have like a physical card anymore. So really, really cool, streamlined way that you can manage whatever you need to keep track of directly in your Gallus app.
Just to ping on there, Kyle, like, yeah, I've had a couple of different clubs I've helped over the last year to get rid of their physical. Like, if you, a lot of customers I know, a lot of courses sell like a Black Friday deal where they do a prepackaged like 10 rounds of golf for a smoking deal only on Black Friday. You sell it either online or through the shop or in person or whatever. Most clubs, when they do this, they sell them out pretty quickly. They have a limited number, but a lot of clubs were mailing physical cards or mailing out vouchers to people. Instead of doing the mailing, you collect, all the payments from however you're collecting payments, and you just upload that list of all the players into the offer that you created, and then now they have the digital offers. You're saving money on postage, you're saving money on packaging them into an envelope, and the actual physical, time and effort to do that. So that's
Yeah.
a couple clubs have saved a ton of money just getting rid of the physical cards. So
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you want to figure out like how many are still floating out there, I mean, you just go into your dashboard of your app and you can see. You just get the numbers right there, which is super cool. Sweet. The next feature that we released was Standby. So this is a feature that's exclusively with Club Profit at the moment. If you're sitting there and you're like, I really wish this was on my booking engine. We'll tell them. Like, I would love to talk to any of the POS providers about getting Standby implemented with them as well. So, like, you can give them my email, Kyle@gallusgolf.com. Happy to do that. But uh, for now, it's with Club Profit. The idea is this is kind of like a tea time waiting list, if you will. It was actually born of some of our frustration. With some of the local San Diego courses, we would always go on right when the tee times opened up, and the tee time slot that we wanted was gone. And we would say, "Gosh, I wish I could get notified if that person or if a person within this window canceled, so that I could go in and then swoop in and pick it off." So we said, let's build it. Let's do it. So the idea is the user comes into the app, just like on this screen right here. They say, I want to play on Saturday from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's when I want my start time to be. And I want to have 2 players. Notify me. Uh, if and when the tee time in that slot is canceled, the user automatically gets a push notification telling them, hey, a tee time just opened up at this time, tap here to book. They tap on it, it takes them right to the booking engine and they can book the time. And the best part about this is, I mean, anyone else that set a window in that time period is also going to get that notification. It's kind of like a race, if you will. Um, Basically it's a win-win. The idea is, the user gets a second chance at a time that they would have maybe originally missed. And also you as the facility get to keep your tee sheet nice and full. So like those cancellations that can be so frustrating, right? Like the day before, depending on your cancellation policy. I mean, you get to just use this automated system where you don't even have to think about it, but it's automatically keeping your tee sheet full throughout the season. So another great feature. We're super excited about it. We had a lot of clubs that used it quite a lot last year, and we're getting a lot of thumbs up from different people. Pages just got released about technically this is a 2023 feature. It got released in January, but we're super excited about this feature. For the longest time in your apps, if you wanted to get more content in there, what we would recommend is to link to an external web page on your site. So we would have you go to your website, create the page, go into your app Gallus dashboard, and put that URL in. what this led to was a kind of a interesting user experience because you're in an app and then you tap on the button and then it technically keeps you in the app, but it takes you to an in-app browser. Um, a lot of people told us it would really be nice if we could just set up content directly in your dashboard. And we said, you know what? Great idea. Let's do that. So we set up Pages. It is live in all of your apps right now. It's a new module. The idea is you come in, you can upload an image at the top, you can put a title in, and then the box where it says like buy your Flex 23 membership today and all of that stuff. It's basically an editor box, kind of like in Microsoft Word or like whatever you're familiar with for your word processing. You can
Emails.
come in, you can put like, yeah, like emails and all that. You can put like bold text, italics, headers, upload images. You can do tappable links. We actually took this box that we put in Pages and we put it in all the other modules too. So like news, pop-ups, uh, offer locker. You can do this kind of stuff in there too. But Pages is really useful if you want to just have some streamlined content. So some ideas, I think Matt's going to talk about this a little bit more later, but I mean, this is great for like if you have lesson programs or you want to outline your memberships in the app, or even if you just want to kind of keep a running list of like what your upcoming events are, this is a really great way to do it. You can come in and you can edit it. And as you can see, it's pretty simple, we like to think. So really something great for you to try this season to get your content nice and viewable for your end users there. Okay. Lastly here, tournament software upgrades. You guys may have seen some emails from us over the second half of the year last year about some things that we're doing. This is all part of our larger effort to improve our events module. So we changed it from tournaments to events because we'll talk about in a second. We're working on some league stuff. So tournaments, we tried to get kind of like the basics laid, and then we turned around and added some league support. So I'll stop talking generally and start talking specifically here. Number one, push notifications. We got feedback that it would really be nice to be able to send a push just to your tournament participants. Well, you can do it now. I'll show you a screenshot in a second. But you go in your tournament dashboard, hit a button, and then it'll send a targeted push directly to them with content that you specify. Super great, and we're really excited to finally deliver some like module integration between our different sections. Multiple T-box support, another thing that people have asked for pretty much forever, being able to go in and designate what T-box each person is playing. We also added a handicap allowance feature, which would take a percentage of the handicap off of everybody's course handicap. And multi T-box support and handicap allowance all lend themselves to our one-click GIN index update. So if you use the USGA system and GIN, what you can do in our tournament software, you can input each player's GIN number there. And then what it essentially allows you to do is set up your handicap allowance, set up their tee boxes, and then on the day of the tournament or league, we'll talk about in a second, you just go in and you click it. It goes to GIN's API, grabs everybody's index, does all the course handicap calculations, and you don't have to go in and do anything else to get everybody's net scoring up and ready to go. So it's really, really simplified and streamlined, and we tried to just kind of do like building blocks to get there. So again, we're really stoked about being able to bring something like that to you guys. And then lastly, we added some scoring formats. We've always had Stableford scoring, but it was a standard Stableford. And people always ask us, well, can I change the point values for like a birdie or an eagle or even like a bogey or double bogey? So you can do that now. If you go in and you set up an event, you choose Stableford, it'll give you a box for each of the point values. And then multiple best ball. We could always do a one best ball of the group. but now you can also do a 2 or a 3 best ball. And again, when you're setting up your tournament, you can just choose which one you want to do. The software does it all for you, which is really great. So just to get a little more into specifics on pushes, the idea is on the left, this is your player page. You'll see a send push notification button that you can click. What's in your best interest if you're going to use this feature is actually inputting their email addresses in. We have a column for that in the spreadsheet upload, or if they register online, they can input their email there. You can require it, or if you're manually inputting them, it's a good idea to put it there too. Now, the reason that that email is important is because that's how we line up who you want to send the push to with their actual app. It's basically we say, is this email associated with an app's user profile? And if it is, send them that push notification. So long story short, input their email addresses and you're going to have a lot of success with this feature. When you click that button, you'll notice all those emails are auto-filled in that image on the right. And then you just have to go in, type a message, choose when you want to send it out, and it's gone. It'll go out to everybody and it'll appear in their push notification drawer on their phone and their message center of their app. So really, really great experience for your users and great for day of tournament communication. The other thing that I wanted to point out is handicap automation. Just to give you some more detail on that, you'll see that there's a column for tee box on this screenshot. So that would be where you can change people's tees. And then above that, you'll see a update GIN button. That's where you can update their GIN numbers if you have them pre-filled, or you can update their indexes if you have the GIN numbers pre-filled. So a lot of great stuff with tournaments, but that leads me into some stuff that's coming. So the main thing that's coming, I mentioned it before, is our league software. We have leagues released to our beta list now. If you are interested in being a beta tester of leagues, you can email us at support@gallusgolf.com and we will turn that module on for you today. It's going to be released to pretty much everyone within the next couple of weeks. We just have a couple of loose ends that we need to tie up to just like really feel comfortable getting it out there to you guys. And we want to make sure that it's 100% working for your season. The idea is you can manage the league from one singular dashboard instead of having to do like a different event each week, which some of you may have tried doing with our tournament software. I mentioned the daily GIN handicap updates. The push notifications we did for tournament software is also in the leagues functionality. So again, if you want to do league roster push notifications, you just keep track of your league in here and it makes that communication aspect very simple. And then the thing that most people are looking for out of a league software is being able to have weekly and season-long leaderboards. And we added actually some FedEx Cup style scoring so that you can do like a season-long point total as well.
We have a question from Jenny asking about bracket play or season-long match play. Currently, we do not have match play as an option for leagues or bracket play in that sense currently. So maybe in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's next.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's next. That one had a lot of stuff that we want to make sure that we think through it completely and get it 100% functional. So it is on our list though. So thank you, Jenny. Okay, one of the things about leagues, I was mentioning before, the season-long leaderboard. So the season leaderboard, the idea is this is one link that you can give to your league members at the beginning of the year, and everything's going to automatically get added as they're keeping score through the app. So when I say everything, I mean their scorecards, their scores, and then you'll actually be able to come here and see where they stand in the season-long points total. Now on the left, you'll see there that is a little tiny screenshot of how you can set up the season-long leaderboard points. The idea is each week, based off of their placement on the leaderboard, they're going to get a certain number of points. So for instance, if I played really great one week and I got first place, I would get, in this scenario, 500 points. But again, you can choose what you want. But then if, the next week I just really played poorly, then got like 11th place or something like that, then I got 75 points. So then I would have 575 points on my season long total. So again, you can click on each person's name to see their full round history, and then you can even click on a round to see the full scorecard. So it's going to be a really powerful tool, and it's of course going to be designed so that it can go on a TV screen too, just like our tournament software. And just to call out, we are going to also have like a weekly leaderboard, like you're accustomed to, where it just has the scores from that particular week as well. And using the points is optional. I mean, you'll see there's a checkbox. You can turn it off if you don't want to use the season long points and just have the history up there as well. The other thing that we are going to be adding, this is getting worked on right now. The goal is to have this by the end of March, in time for the season. We're going to have self-creating groups. So if you're familiar with our tournament software at all, at the moment, in order for a round to run, you have to go in and input groups beforehand. We got some feedback from people that, I mean, some leagues are that structured where every week that these people are going to be playing. I can pair them together. They're starting on this hole, designate all that in the software. You'll still be able to do that if you want. But if you're one of those facilities where it's more kind of show up when you can and just kind of grab a cart and go play, we're going to have a functionality in the app where they can actually come in, select themselves. They're then going to be able to select who they're playing with and what hole they're actually starting on. And at that point, they're going to be playing in the scorecard and GPS. And long story short, you didn't have to come in and set up any groups before the round. It just ran. So this should automate a lot of your league processes and make it a little bit simpler for people to join and make it a little smoother too. So again, this will just be kind of another option that's available.
And something I've talked to, Kyle, just to jump in about this kind of self-creating groups. I've talked to some clubs that are structured. They do have tee times set up for everybody for their leagues, but it's still kind of a pain to go in and create the groups every week. Actually, just duplicate on your actual tee sheet that you already have where they're playing and add it to, go in and upload a spreadsheet. You can just tell them where they're playing, and they can then still make them come in here and select who they're playing with. Have one person score per group. It's just one less step that you have to do on the back end as a manager to set up that league for them. So even if you are structured, you can still use this flow. It just saves you one step on the back end of actually setting up groups.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the theme is we're trying to streamline things so that there's less that you have to do in the dashboard and you can get back to managing your facility. That's the whole goal with all of this. Another thing, again, we mentioned standby earlier, but Club Profit actually just rolled this out a couple of weeks ago. They integrated with our push notification API. We are working with them. If you're a Club Profit customer, it's getting added to your dashboard. We're in the process of getting that update rolled out. But basically, you can go into Club Profit if that's your POS T-sheet provider. You can select a list from their marketing module, and then you can send a push notification straight from there without even having to log into Gallus Golf. So it's, again, really should simplify the process of sending out a push notification. And again, if you are on a different point of sale and you would really love that functionality, send your point of sale provider my email and I would love to talk to them so that we can get that functionality added for you as well. We know pushes are so powerful for communication, and the best part is, you can send out as many as you want, and you can slice and dice and filter. So we want to make that process simple for you. All right, I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to give it over to Matt. Matt's going to run through really quickly just a rundown on what you should be setting up right now.
Yeah. Thanks, Kyle. I also started a new poll in the chat. Just we have other ideas for stuff we're going to be trying to roll out either later this year or next year. We always love to have feedback of what you guys like. So we kind of just put in a couple ideas for like what if you had a choice of what our next feature we created is, what would it be? So yeah. So we're always wanting feedback from you guys. So that's how we know what to create next. Is the people that ask us for things, the more likely it's going to be at the top of our list to do. So what you should be setting up now, this is kind of just like this time of year for most of you. I know, depending on where you are at, most people's golf season runs, typically, you know, end of spring through end of fall. But if you're in other states like Arizona or Florida, I understand you're probably mid-season right now. But for the majority of people, this is what you should be doing in your app to get ready for your main season. These are just some like reminders. A lot of stuff is just kind of like setting up, and you don't have to remember for the rest of the season. And some of it's just kind of just best practice. So, Kyle, if you want to move on to the next slide. So the first thing is to be able to track your tee time revenue channels. This is something where typically you want to know where people are booking tee times from, whether it's your website, whether it's your app, whether it's just a mobile device, but not, just your mobile website from their device, um, Facebook, or how they're getting there. So there is a way, typically, depending on your POS provider, you can either set up a separate T sheet that is synced with your current T sheet that has a different URL that we can place as a unique identifier within your app, so that when people book through that link, you can kind of separate how many people are actually booking through the app versus booking through just your online website. A lot of POS providers have like stats when you print out reports that have like separate things, and that's another way to separate it. Um, if you are a Club Profit customer, that's something they started doing, I believe, last fall, that they automated do. Like, again, you could still have a separate one set up, but they've now are tracking that individually. They break it down by mobile device and app and website, so that you don't have to do that and don't have to go in and set anything up. So they're automatically doing that. Again, that's something that you can talk to your POS provider about, seeing if they can do that automatically or how they would do that. Everybody kind of does it differently, but we've helped set up many of these before. This is a good idea because if you set this up now throughout the year, then you can look back at the end of next year to see where you should be focusing kind of your attention. Like if you should be putting more effort into, Facebook ads, or, it should be promoting your app more to get more people to download it, or if it's for whatever you want to do. So, whether it's, using Golf Now more or whatever. So, um, yeah, just better decisions of where to put your effort in the future. So if you set this up now, you'll have that data for next year. So another great thing is just promoting your app. Like, what should you be doing to promote your app? Whether you're a brand new customer, whether you're, have had the app for 10 years with us, whether, what it may be, these are kind of best practices. The first one being, you should always have a web link, like to download your app on your homepage of your website. That's just like number one. It should be somewhere, somewhat kind of obvious, close to the book a tea time button, somewhere you can make your own graphic. But we also have in our promote section of our app, in the dashboard, have a web banner that works really well there. Um, and you can also add it to your actual booking page. I know a lot of booking pages now, like on your actual T sheet, like the booking window can have a place to have other text or other titles, other things either before or after. I know Club Profit has a way to add that into, like, you can add a little box into your T sheet, um, that you can have any text and any links you want as well. But also having an email campaign a couple times a year, whether it's like the beginning of the season, putting at the bottom of every email a footer that just has a link to download the app. Don't forget about our app at the bottom of all your emails for everyone you send out. Um, Booking confirmation emails is probably the best, like, bang for your buck I've seen. Where if you put a link in every booking confirmation email, every time somebody books with you, it says, "Thanks for booking with us. Here's your tea time." And then at the bottom it says, "Hey, do you want to be able to keep score and post your score to Janet afterwards?" And whatever. Having a link there is huge. And again, that's usually you have to set up once in your email template within your POS system. You don't have to think about it ever again. But then also making sure you have print materials, whether it's print materials we provide or just ones you guys, print out yourselves. Even just printing out the simple, we have a QR code in the promote section as well. I have a lot of clubs I know that they just literally print out a big piece of paper like that, stick it on the back of their computer in the pro shop, and they just have people point to it like, "Hey, download the app." Like they don't have to have anything fancy; just have an easy way for them to open their camera, point, download the app that way. So, and also you can think of other ways to incentivize people. The offer locker is a great way to. You can have a download incentive that you can change every year, or you can change every month if you wanted to. That it basically, like, whenever you download the app, somebody new downloads the app, it gives them the option to get some offer, whether it be free bucket of balls or 10% off the pro shop or something. Or a lot of clubs have been doing larger kind of like raffle giveaways, whether it be monthly or quarterly or yearly, where basically you can get people to download the app, they sign up for the offer locker and redeem an offer, and that you pick one winner of everybody that's did that in a certain time period. This is a great way to give away something that more people would want, and it's a bigger incentive for me to do it. Maybe it's a package worth up to $300 with a bag and a putter and a bucket of balls, or new sleeve of balls or something. But it's something you don't have to give away to everybody, but you give away to one person. Everybody can kind of like opt in to try to get to it. Um, but also you can like run automatically in your app. There is a monthly leaderboard that gets generated every month, that people that use the scorecard just in general, you can always give like, hey, this person had the best score this month, give away gift card, or like shout them out on through your app that way as well. So other incentives just to get people to keep using the app. It's always nice keeping stuff fresh. But also using your staff, like making sure that they are telling people about it, that they remind people about it all the time, that you have QR code stickers on your cart somewhere. Or even just I know I've had a couple clubs that they made a competition. The person that got the most people to download the app like in front of them, won some gift card or something. So you can do kind of fun stuff like that. Or if you get your staff together, you can do like, if you increase your 100 downloads this month as a team, you guys all get a like free pizza or lunch or something. I don't know. So we've had some cool competitions out there that kind of work. So, and now I'm going to move on to the next slide. I can't control anything. So Kyle, thank you very much. Setting up some pages. So I'm going to run through these pretty quickly. These are just some general ideas to kind of get you going. But essentially, there was a question earlier that Dave Cohen had asked. We'll get to some of the other questions as well. And I know that Kyle looks like he created these, but sometimes you have a page that's on your website that is nice that you don't have to update it twice, because it's on your website. If you update it on your website, it's updated. Sometimes your mobile website is not the greatest formatting. Sometimes your website's not easy to update because you have to send it to somebody else to update. This is a way for you to control your content within your own app. And it's something that can be easily updated. Or again, you can even just have some basic information and still have a link to your webpage if you want more information there. But you can have your key information in a bigger text, really bright, and it loads a lot quicker within your app instead of going to an external website. So some great ideas, rates for this year. Again, just have them up front, really big, easy for people to see. Tournament schedule that has, maybe you have links to every online registration that you have set up for them, whether it's through Golf Genius or through our tournament software. Event schedules, which are maybe not just pure golf, but maybe like Mother's Day brunch, Christmas, other things that you can have also event registration links right there. League information is huge. You can have all your league information in one spot, including all the season-long leaderboards, the regular leaderboards. You can split up all the leaderboards with different links all right there. They can even link to other pages that have all the information for each individual league. You can have lessons, which is a great way to have, like, if you have a booking page for your lessons, to have a link at the bottom there. Membership rates or registration for a membership, whether it's a actual country club membership or it's a more of a season pass membership. Monthly newsletter is huge. You can literally copy and paste your monthly newsletter you send out via email into your app, so that people see that there. Or really create anything you want, any content, whether it's a shop. You can have like links to your shop or items that you want people to purchase, whether it's gift cards or whatever. But again, it's just a way to easily customize the content within your app, and it's up to you. The possibilities are endless. So this is brand new feature. It's new, so we haven't even seen what other people have thought of. Next year, we'll probably have some really cool ideas that we'll just cherry pick from. That's usually what I do. So most of my ideas I've stolen from some of you guys out there. So I'm sorry if I'm stolen your idea and told other people, but that's, you guys are out there doing the hard work. I'm just kind of letting people know what works. So, and now we're going to talk about setting up some pop-ups. So Kyle talked about pop-ups and how you can set up pop-ups for specific days. Here are some great ones. Most of the pop-ups you set up in your scorecard. You usually set up like once per season and don't typically have to change too much. A good one is to have a welcome message when somebody starts around, just says welcome, thanks for playing. Maybe you can have some like, hey, we have bathrooms on these holes, or hey, we have this on this hole, or whatever it may be. Here's the bathroom code, if you want to give them that. F&B reminders on the turn is a huge one. If you have like whether it's you have a click the call button or you have like an actual food ordering system or just to view the menu so people can know what to order when they get there. So it's a little quicker. Membership promos are huge. Booking lessons, like you can have having a bad round, book a lesson with us now. That's a funny one I've seen a lot. A replay opportunity at the end of the round is huge. Putting it like as you end the round, say thanks for playing with us. Click here to book another tea time with us. It's a great way to like catch them. Hey, if they really liked it, hey, maybe I'll play again next week. Cool. Like boom, book it right now. Surveys are really great. You can link to like any Survey Monkey, Google survey, whatever you want to do. That's a great way to get some feedback right away. Or I had a lot of good feedback last year. People using like this is our signature hole, hashtag our golf course name, signature hole, like so that people can post to your social media for you some cool pictures of like sunset or some other cool shots or something. So social media hashtag reminders or just posting pictures to social media is a huge one. So, and as Kyle mentioned earlier, a lot of people you can sell ad space. Some people pay, make money through the app by selling every hole as a hole sponsor, whether it's all year or just for certain tournaments. You can set these up to pop up between every single hole, and you can have linked right to their website. You can have their picture with their information. It's like a great way to add some revenue that maybe you're already selling ads on your physical scorecard or around your course. It's another way to add. They can for another couple $100 every year, they can add also an ad in your app or something. So we've had a number of people doing that. So and now another thing to do. These are mainly in your scorecard. You can set up app open pop-ups. So I typically recommend those more like for important things you want people to see right away. But these are typically scheduling these pop-ups. You kind of set them up. You don't have to kind of remember about them. So the app open ones are a little bit more like, hey, we have this event coming up. Click here to register. Like those are kind of more in your face. And because they see those as they open the app, not just when they're using the scorecard. So sorry, Kyle. Yeah, go on. My bad. Try to get through this so we have some time for Q&A. Scheduling offers for your offer locker. Now that you have multi-use offers, a great way to it's like you can set these up ahead of time that you can have certain ones that pop up just throughout the year, so you don't have to think about them. They just kind of like run as the year goes on, so you can set them up now and not have to worry. Free bucket of range ball is a big one. Having different like revenue streams. If you're big golf but you don't get a lot of pro shop action, maybe put a lot of pro shop coupons or vice versa. If you want to try to push your F&B more, you're trying to push people toward use things that they typically aren't using. So you can birthday round is a great one. If your birthday's in this month, you get 10% off or $10 off your round or something like that, free round. But you can also do anything you really want, whether it's a bigger monthly raffle or if you want to set up some reoccurring. I know a lot of clubs set up the same 2 or 3 reoccurring. You always get a free bucket of balls and like 5% off the pro shop that expire at the end of each month. You can copy offers very easily that are set to go from January 1st, January 31st, February 1st, February 28th. Like you can set them up to be only good for that 1 month. It gets people to, get used to using them and kind of like remember about seeing you. And then you can add other ones every couple months that are different, that are unique, that more likely people will use them because they're used to using the offer locker already for other stuff. So the offer lockers really can be great for anything. And you can also target individual users like Kyle had mentioned earlier. This is great for like member guest passes. Maybe all your members get like 2 free guest passes every month. You can send those out and schedule them all ahead of time. You can upload the like an Excel spreadsheet for each one, so only your members get it. And then they're already ready. If any new members get added throughout the year, you just add them to the individual offers already created. You don't have to go reinvent the wheel or redo anything. You're just adding them to that one specific one. So makes it really easy to kind of like have everything all set up before you even start the season. So, and then finally, we have tournaments and leagues. Yes, 2 more. Yeah, thank you. Tournaments and leagues, setting up an event in our tournament software is pretty simple. You don't have to be a genius to use our software like some other ones out there. But if you do use Golf Genius and have very complicated game types and leagues and other stuff going on, are fully integrated with Golf Genius, the premium version. So you do have to be using their paid, very expensive version. But instead of using their app, the Golf Genius app, and using a GGID to log in, you would use your own app, and they would join the event just like our events, where they just click on their name and they go. They don't have to put in a GGID. All of that data gets sent back to Golf Genius. They could still, half your field can use the Golf Genius app, half the field can use your app, but all the data still goes back to Golf Genius. You don't have to use our tournament software at all. But at least you're integrated that way, so that they're using your app. They still get your GPS pop-ups, they still get all of your push notifications. They're all in your app. They don't have to download a separate app. So that's if you're using Golf Genius Premium. If not, ours is very simple, easy to use. Even if you're using it just for print materials, only if you want to do it for online registration. If you want to do it for just a host link, if somebody's going to host an event at your club, you can give them host access to just that one event so that they can go in, put in their own payment processor, collect all the money. They don't have to, they cut you one check. You don't have to collect money for them. Um, you can also do whole sponsors throughout with pop-ups, or you can set up leagues throughout the year with your seasonal leaderboard. So tournament software is something where obviously you're going to be running throughout the year, but if you can go in ahead of time and set up all of the tournaments that you're going to run, set up all the online registrations ahead of time, put all those links in your app, have them ready to go, just so you don't even have to do it. I have a lot of clubs that do this every year, beginning of the year, gets it out of the way. If they add in any new ones or make any changes, they just tweak them, but all the links are still there. Makes it easy. So, and then lastly, food and beverage. Food and beverage. I know not everybody runs their own food and beverage, but you can always have food and beverage menus within your app. We have kind of three main options. We have our view only menu, which is a simple viewing that you upload your own pictures or use some of our default images. You just put in the name and the price, and then you can have a click to call button at the very bottom to call ahead your orders. That's a very simple thing that you can help set up in your app. Or if you already have a good menu on your website, you can have a direct link to any website, whether it's your website, whether it's just a PDF that's on your website, whether it's a PDF that you give us. You can have just literally a PDF menu that shows the menu. Very easy. If you ever need to update it, you just update the PDF, new link, boom, done. Or if you have your own F&B ordering system through your own POS already, that's already linked, like Toast has one that's linked to their own, we can link directly to any external uh, food and beverage ordering system if it is available with a website that has a URL that we can access. Or we have our own. We have our own standalone that's not linked to any POS. It's just our own standalone system that you can receive orders in 7 different ways, whether it's an iPad app we have, whether it's a receipt printer, whether it's a text message, email, whatever you want to do. But essentially, people, as you can see on the left-hand side, they click on an item, they put everything in their cart. They can even pay through the app if they want to. If you set up a payment processor, it sends it to you. Then when they come, they pick it up and they go. So we have a way to do this directly through the app. If you need more information, that is an add-on item that you need to get added on. We need to do it. There's an additional cost for that. But if you want to do that, we can add that on as well. Otherwise, those other 2 options are free for you to use. And our support resources, trying to get through this quickly. We have a number of different resources. If all of we're talking about right now seems very overwhelming and you're like, oh my God, there's so much to do, so much stuff. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough people. We have a couple resources for you. We have our own, what we call boost marketing team that most likely, if you set up your app, hopefully our team has helped you kind of what we call with our launch pad to help you with some social media posts, get you some like email templates, that kind of stuff. But we can do all of your email marketing, all of your social media management, all of your revenue strategies, app management, website management, graphic design, all of that kind of stuff, all for less than the cost of a part-time intern. Basically, you pay a either monthly or yearly fee that you get our team. You meet with them typically once a week, go over everything you need. You approve all this stuff that they're going to do. You give them access to all your emails and social media, and they post and do everything for you. So it's a pretty common practice in the golf industry to have a marketing team that works for you. I know a lot of the POS companies have their own, but we have one as well that also knows how to use our app very well, which is kind of key because not everybody knows how to use our app. So it is something that that we can do for you. Or if you are paying for management already through somebody else, we can help train that person that's managing all your other social media how to use your app and then incorporate it into your plan as well. That's something I've done quite a bit last year. And also, we have our pro tips webinar back. So we're going to be doing a quick deep dive into a number of different features of our app that give you a lot more details and suggestions and ideas. They're 30 minutes or less. They are recorded just like this one. We're going to send them out via email afterwards and post them to our YouTube page. But it's just a great way to get inspired, get some ideas from other people, and just kind of keep up with some of the new stuff that's going on and some new ideas. So we do some deep dives. We're going to try to do some new ones this year. We might repeat a couple, but most likely we're going to try to keep some new ones this year. So these are the ones we have slated so far this year. So new features in tournament software, which Kyle alluded to, but we're going to deep dive and show you how to do some of that stuff. Live scoring and automation for leagues. Again, that's going to be another whole, like, if you actually want to see how it works and kind of more of the back end there. Using pages, we're going to deep dive into pages, which is our brand new feature. Communications with pop-ups and news. So that's kind of we've done those before, but this is just kind of a recap of both of those features that are very important. And then using Offer Locker to grow your audience. Again, we've kind of touched on that before, but always great to kind of recap, especially with some of the updates we've done. So.
And I did pop the registration link for that into the Q&A section. So if you want to register for it, and like Matt mentioned, you don't have to come to every one. Like, we don't, like, if you want to, we'd love to have you.
Yeah,
but if you register once, it registers you for all of them. And then you can kind of pick and choose the ones that apply to you is the idea. And then, we try to keep them 30 minutes or less because we know you guys are busy. We don't want to knock you out with too many 1 hour webinars.
Exactly. Yeah. And then we're always there on our team for support as well. So here's all the ways to reach us. If you are new and you're on this webinar just checking out what we're doing, thanks for showing up and hanging with us. You can email info@gallusgolf.com to get more info and book a demo to actually find out more about how we can customize an app for you directly. For everybody else that's here that is our current customer, thank you for joining us and hanging out with us. I see a lot of familiar names in our chat here, so that's very thankful for you guys showing up again. Always email us at support@gallusgolf.com. Goes to our whole support team. We have a very extensive knowledge base that Kyle has meticulously updated and kept live, and make sure that all of our updates are current. That has videos, screenshots, step-by-step instructions for every single module you can think of. It is very detailed if you want to deep dive into stuff yourself. So if you're a more do-it-yourself person, want to kind of get the answers on your own, go to that website and you can poke around and learn everything you want to know about the app. You also have a phone number. That phone number goes directly to our support team as well. Or you can chat with us on any of our Gallus Golf websites. Or if you go into Manager, that's if you forget to manager login. Some people every year don't go in very often. Manager.gallusgolf.com. We can even email you your password if you need to, or set up a new manager account for any new people you have and train any new people as well. Or if you just want to get a recap, we can have your account manager reach out to you and set up a training, set up a refresh, set up a whatever you want to go over. So that's what we're here for. So I know, did we get to all of the answers in? I know there's a lot of questions popping up. So
yeah, I've been answering questions in the chat quite a bit. I know we're going over here, but just real quick, Anna from Rush Creek, you were asking about the promo files that we showed, which are new. We've always generated promo files for you guys, but these ones we actually they're a little fresher. So if you guys want new promo files, just email us at support@gallusgolf.com and we can get those uploaded to your dashboard. Also, Jenny, I don't know if we got to your question about standby. You were asking if you're able to customize the standby list to the number of players. We're not there quite yet. Doesn't mean that we're not going to get there at some point. So we'll definitely take that under advisement. And yeah, if you connect us with 4UP, we've been talking to them a little bit, but it never hurts to have like an actual course.
Yeah, the more
saying
people
I want this feature.
Yeah, the more people really that reach out to them, the more that it helps with us trying to get them to help us get this a reality for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, cool. I think that's about it. But like Matt said, if you guys have any other questions or want to continue some conversations, here, let me go back. These are our, you can reach out to us either at info@gallusgolf.com, or if you're a current client, support@gallusgolf.com. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys on the Pro Tips series, and
Yeah.
we will talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, you
Thanks
guys.
for your
Thanks.
time. We
Yeah, thanks for
appreciate it.
showing up. Yeah. Talk to you guys soon.